sorry I'm a little bit late. I was part of the traveling group in Dallas, so it was quite a long day. So I was sleeping for most of the day yesterday and pretty busy. After that, I had some stuff to do. So getting around to the match review today. A little late, but better late than never. So um, we started the game pretty good. We were pretty lively. We were creating opportunities, chances. We were really, really organized defensively, I thought, in the first 45. And I hate to bring this up, but Ted Uncle, absolutely clueless referee, doesn't have a single soccer IQ bone in his body. Could have easily given multiple yellow cards in the first 45 minutes to FC Dallas players, taking late challenges, two seconds late, left and right and center, as well as taking Brent Coleman's plant leg out, and then like the Bush League fouls that were being committed that weren't being like Ted Uncle lost control of the game in the first 20 minutes, 15, if that. So the fact that referees continued to be the discussion of majority of the games played, regardless of the team, is just laughable at this point. It's amateur. It's laughable from a league like this. It shouldn't be nowhere near this standard. We should have legitimate referees that actually know what the hell they're doing, because these guys are glorified Sunday league referees. They literally don't have a single clue what the hell they're doing. And yeah, so that's about my rant about Ted Uncle and his stupidity of officiating, because by far one of the worst refs in the league. So yeah, so start pretty well, create opportunities, go into the halftime 0-0. Can't complain being on the road like that and playing well for the first 45. And we could have honestly scored a goal, but we didn't create a lot of opportunities. We created some. But like we've been saying all year, we never take our opportunities and finish. We just don't finish our opportunities. Yeah, we create chances sometimes, and we've been crying out for goal scorer for years now, but who knows? I mean, yeah, it's sickening at this point. We spend very little money, and we have a very good team compared to the rest of the league, yet we don't push the needle and go out and get a DP striker or someone with legitimate quality. We just kind of take some gambles on guys and fill out the squad, and then we end up spending pretty low compared to other teams when we could easily spend another $4 or $5 million and be a powerhouse. But doesn't, yeah. Owner, yeah, we need to just spend some damn money. It's getting to the point. I don't want to just throw money at players, but it gets to a point where even if you're in a small market, maybe you should spend some money to win some games. Getting to the playoffs is a bare minimum. Basically, everyone gets there. So yeah, being in the playoffs is, if you're working at the club and you think being in the playoffs is a success, newsflash, us fans and everyone else don't think making the playoffs in the MLS is success. It really is not. It is very, very easy to make the playoffs in the MLS. Just have to have an okay team, really, and not beat yourself. So I yeah. But we end up actually taking the lead with an Emmanuel Reynoso goal, an assist from Bongi Hulangwe, who came back from his injury. Actually did not play very good at all. The goal was mainly Ray shooting outside the box, but it was some great build-up play. Will had a good pass in the build-up play, and it was a really good goal to take the lead. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, even if Bongi didn't play well, he gets the assist, made the pass, and that's on the score sheet. So, but unfortunately, we conceded a corner. They score off a corner, and you can't let them score 10 minutes after you score. It's just you gotta hold on to that lead. But some awful set piece defending, which we've struggled with for a long time. Our set piece defending has been absolutely awful. That needs to be addressed. Someone in the coaching staff should be maybe trying to work on that. That'd be something. I mean, you might notice that we're not very good at the last several years, so there's that. Could be a good idea to win some first headers and stuff. We just don't. We don't win the first, second, or ball. We just boot the ball up forward and act like we're gonna score a goal. Like, our offense just is so stagnant. We need other players that could pick out passes like Lod and Reynoso, because some of them just can't. Like, they just can't. And we can't defend sometimes, and it's frustrating, especially when you take the lead and then you give up a shit set piece corner goal like that. And then after that point, you simply play for a draw as you take off a lot of your attackers, bring on guys. I mean, I fully am for Kervin Arriaga and Mender coming on or probably not even for Luis. I think you keep Luis on regardless of how he's doing. Because the game, you need to keep on players that can score penalties if you are going to go into overtime into a penalty shootout. And we just didn't do that. We took off our best players before the shootout. And then had Will Trapp take it. Yeah. Will Trapp should never be taking a penalty, ever. He should be the last penalty taker. Any other player that is on the pitch should be taking a penalty. So the fact that Will is the second penalty taker is absolutely laughable from Adrian Heath. It is actually absolutely awful coaching. And the fact that he takes the second penalty is, the decision making behind that is absolutely fireable. Like, anyone with two eyes that can see knows Will is not a shooter. He is not a goal scorer. He is not a passer. He is an absolute destroyer of the midfield. He breaks stuff down. He has a workhorse of an engine, and taking a penalty is not his strong suit, regardless of how well he plays. So, yeah, that was brain dead and mind-boggling for me. I don't understand how that decision making can happen. I really do not. I don't care if he wants to take the penalty. You tell Will you are not taking the penalty. Even as your captain, you tell him no. So that was just laughable. But we'll go back to the 75th minute when we do make the substitutions for Kervin Arriaga for Bongi Halangwe, Mender Garcia for Luis Amarilla. And that brought Laud up at right forward or right midfield wing area. So that kind of it didn't switch the formation. We just swapped some players around. Laud came out of the midfield, like I said. And then in the 88th minute, Joseph Rosales comes on for Franco, fresh legs, and we switch to a makeshift back five almost, like shifting back five. Or that actually. No. Joseph came on and he kind of played at he came on as like replacement for Franco. It was in the 105th minute when Benitez came on for Robin Lod and O'Neill, and that is when we switched to kind of a back five with Rosales playing right wing back, I believe, or left wing back. One of the wing backs. He was playing one of the wing backs. I believe it was right wing back. But that does literally nothing. We just basically said when we did that we were playing for a draw, and we had been playing for a draw for most of the second half when we brought on Mender, because he was awful. He was really bad. I have not been impressed with Mender Garcia, and yeah, the fact that we buy DPs that are low end DPs is laughing at your fan base, because we deserve better than low end DPs. We deserve better players because our team is better, and we are crying out for key positions where we need a better player. We just it was most Adrian Heath is so many mistakes. I mean, for the amount of money we spend, he does all right, but like, there's so many simple errors where it's laughable. So yeah, kind of go into the player ratings, and then we'll kind of talk about the off season a little, I guess. It's gonna, yeah. So Dane St. Clair, my man of the match. 9 out of 10 for me. Only unfortunate part was I thought he could have done better. Even though it's penalty shootout, I really thought he could have done better for the last one. I thought I thought he was going to do something tricky, and he did, and it could have been an easy save. So it just seemed like the type of player he is, and I don't know. I just felt that Dane could have done better during the PK shootout. I really did. I feel like he should have saved one. Not that they're bad penalties. I just felt like Dane has it in him to save one of the five. I just really think he should be saving one. Kamar Lawrence, I thought, played well. Going to give him a 7 out of 10. Brett Coleman, I thought, was actually really, really good pocketing Jesus Ferreira. I thought Coleman had an extremely good game. Extremely good. So it was unfortunate that it ended like that. And he'll get a 8 out of 10 for me. Michael Boxall, a 6 out of 10. DJ Taylor, a 6 out of 10. Will Trapp, a 7 out of 10. Robin Lod, a 7.5, or 7 or an 8 out of 10. I'll give Robin an 8. I thought he was pretty good. Franco wasn't very good. I'm gonna give him a 5. And that's what Franco is. He's hot, or he's cold, and he was really cold. Manuel Reynoso, a 10 out of 10 for me. Or a 9 out. I'll give him a 9 out of 10. There's him and Dane get the same, and I think they kind of, share man of the match rewards. Both of them kind of do. It felt like one of those games, but it's hard to decide between the two. More of a toss up. Bongi Halangwe, really, really bad. 5 out of, actually Franco 4, Bongi 4, Luis Amarilla 4, just really poor. Just kind of rethinking about it, just really, really poor games. From all three, even with Bongi gets an assist, he didn't play very well. I'll have to give him a 5 just because of the assist, but only because of the assist he gets notched up 1 point. Kerwin Arriaga, 7 out of 10. Mender Garcia, 4 out of 10. Joseph Rosales, a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. Alan Benitez, a 7 out of 10. O'Neal Fisher, a 6 out of 10. Yeah, those are the player ratings for the FC Dallas playoff game where we lose 5-4 on penalties. And if we now finally get to the end of regulation and we go to penalties and you're thinking, all right, who's taking it? Ray's taking the first one. And then as soon as Will Strapp's walking up, I knew it wasn't going to go in because, like I said earlier, really isn't that type of player. Would have had literally any other player take it. Literally, I would have had Joseph take it instead of him. I would have had Dane take it before him. I would have had Boxy, Coleman, either one. I would have had Coleman take it before him. DJ Taylor probably, yeah. Just the fact that, yeah. Shit, I would have had O'Neal Fisher take it before him. Like, I know, like, we know what Will Trapp has to offer. And it's not scoring a penalty ever, even in a penalty shootout. Maybe when it gets past the first 5, yeah, maybe Will could take a penalty later when he absolutely has to. Absolutely has to. Not because of a decision to have him go second. So that didn't lose us the game by any means. I'm not blaming the loss on Will at all. No way. But that simply is just bad managing from the coaching staff. So, yeah, and if they can't see that, then that he shouldn't be taking a penalty, then I don't know. But the way he took it, you just know he doesn't take them often. He's not good at it. And yeah, sorry, probably getting tired from watching me yawn a bunch, but it's that away trip took a lot out of me. So it was worth it though. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, just not great. That's kind of how I'll end the whole game, the playoff match review segment, because there really isn't much to talk about. About that at least. So we'll get into who's out of contract and in contract for the next season, and if they should stay or if they should go. I'm going to start with Tani Usui. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm so sorry about that, Tani. I am just not very good at enunciation, so very, very sorry about that. He has a club option, and I could see us maybe extending it just because it's probably extremely cheap club option, being it's part of his rookie deal. But I could also seeing us part ways. I don't think he featured too much for MNUFC 2, but I'm sure he played a little bit. Wasn't able to catch every MNUFC 2 game. I caught most of them, but Nabi Kabuchi, I think if it's the right contract, we should keep him. he's a good depth piece, but I don't think he should be starting very many games. It's more of he could develop into a good player. If he gets game time, we could maybe send him on loan somewhere, or he just plays for MNUFC 2 to get game time. Aziel Jackson, 100% keep. Give the kid a contract. He needs to break. He should be breaking into the first team this year, and should be getting some game time off the bench, and maybe even start some maybe not important games in the regular season to prove himself. Because for the little he featured in the international friendlies with the first team and everything, he did not look out of touch. He looked one of the better players, and he looked outstanding in his cameos for that. Also for MNUFC 2, created the most chances in MLS or Next Pro. So just a lot of really good things from Aziel Jackson this year, developing wise. So I love watching the kid, and would love to see him start featuring for the first team a bit more. Justin McMaster, we have a club year option on, another 2-year club option on. I could see us keeping him for MNUFC 2, maybe, but I could also see us parting ways, as he probably just needs to get game time somewhere else and maybe find a new home. But I don't think he has too much of a future here, unfortunately. Eric Dick, I'd probably let him walk. He's not. Yeah, I don't. You guys saw the U.S. Open Cup game. He made the mistake to get us out of the Open Cup. That was his chance to get some game time. Didn't play quite well. He's more of like a third choice goalie, and I think Emmings can kind of step into that role as third choice. Or if he gets game time somewhere else, we could get a different third choice option maybe. Or if we do keep him, it's just going to be a very cheap very cheap third string goalie option or contract type thing, Colin Montgomery, I think we should part ways. Or it's tough. I think you either keep Colin or Nabi. You don't keep both. So, yeah, I think you keep one or both. I just not one or both. You either keep one or the other. My fault. But I don't think you keep both. So I think it's a toss up between the two. And personally, if I had to choose, it would probably be Colin, just because I think he's just a little bit better on the ball. The little I've seen of him at center back, he's looked better. I haven't been super impressed with Nabi at center back. I think Nabi's best game he played at center defensive mid in Houston. And Nabi didn't feature much for us, and neither did Colin. But a little bit when I saw him doing the international friendly, he played all right against Everton. He played good. So yeah, I thought Colin would be the one to keep out of the two, but I could also see us not keeping either. So there's just a couple players like that where it's more of a toss-up for depth and a roster spot more than anything, where they won't be playing too much. O'Neal Fisher, I don't think we should keep him. Not impressed with. I don't think it was too big of a contract. I just don't think he's got enough quality for a depth piece. We also didn't see too much of him, but when he did feature, he wasn't outstanding. Ja'Cory Hayes, I think, would be a great player to keep, good off the bench and a good midfield depth piece, I think. DJ Taylor, definitely keep. Outstanding year filling in or playing right back for us for the injured Roman Montier. Great season from DJ, absolute great season. Nico Hansen, I think, It's probably best for both teams or both parties to part ways. Nico really hasn't been featured much for whatever reason, even with the right wing, forward, midfield area that has been crying out for a bit of help since Lud has slipped into the midfield where we needed the most. So, yeah. Abu Dalati, I'd get rid of. I don't think it was smart to bring it back, but I mean, if you're keeping him as a third, maybe not even third choice, but fourth choice striker, I guess. But it'd have to be pennies on the dollar, very, 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 very low pennies on the dollar. And at that point, you already know what you got. He's really not anything great, but gotta fill some roster spots. So like, if you need, if let me put it this way, if keeping Abu as a cheap third or fourth striker, however we want to have options up top, enables us to spend a lot on a DP striker or something, that would be ideal. And I'd be fine with keeping Abu for those reasons to save some money and stuff. But those are going to be the only points, not because he's good or great or anything. It's just because of money reasons as well as the stuff he does all right. Pace is hard to find, but I wouldn't want him playing any games at all, really. Basically, I'd want him coming on for the last couple minutes of a couple games, maybe, but that's it. That's really it. So, and Joseph Rosales, we have the option to buy, which it would be a very cheap option to buy, I believe. And he's been outstanding on his loan. His transfer market value skyrocketed. Recent, not too high, but like it's gotten better and stuff. And he plays really well when he gets substituted in. He really makes an impact on the game, regardless of where he plays. And he kind of can play in multiple positions. He almost is like a Hassani Dotson, Swiss Army knife type of player, but he does it in different spots. Like, really is like a Hassani Dotson type utility player. But yeah, because as soon as Hassani game came out, Joseph kind of like fit into that role a little, not as much as Hassani does, as I think Hassani played more. But like I think you can kind of understand what I'm trying to get at there. I think it's a no-brainer to keep Joseph. Yeah. And personally, I'd be ecstatic if we did. And I really, really hope we do. Tyler Miller. I don't think we should keep Tyler. I think he has a future elsewhere. Good goalie. Is just unfortunate that lost his spot to Dane, who had a higher ceiling, younger, etc., etc. There's plenty of reasons to keep Dane over Tyler, and you want him to get on with the rest of his playing career. You don't want to have him sitting on the bench just rotting away, really. Even though it's really calming to know you have a class second goalie that can fill in and play well. So, but I feel like there's other options out there. Roman Montier, unfortunately, very expensive player, probably time to leave. And very injury prone recently over the years. So it's just been a sequence of unfortunate events. A very good player and as did a lot for this club, and we needed him when we came, and he's been good. It's just too bad that injuries kind of hindered his time here. But it would be best for both parties to part ways, I believe. And Will Trapp, I personally think we could find better options in the midfield that can give us more dynamic going forward. As you could find a destroyer that can maybe pass a little, maybe score a goal or two, and not someone that simply only breaks defense up and as a workhorse. I think you can find those attributes that Will Trapp has in other players that have better attributes offensively and passing. Is what I'm trying to basically get at. So I could see us keeping him, yes, but I could also just seeing us getting rid of him. Yeah. So that's a lot. Kind of Deadwood out, I personally think so. But there's also key players in there that we need to keep and then reinforce the squad in the off season. But kind of a long one. But the only way to get at it really is because, like I said, I was part of the FC Dallas away or the FC Dallas MN United traveling crowd. So it's been a long couple days. Very tired, day late and everything. So long, late, making plenty of exceptions today. So yeah, and basically what we're crying out for, we need a striker, someone to start over Bongi. We need a young center back to pair with Dabasi, and Coleman and Boxall can be our third or fourth and third and fourth choice center backs, I believe. It's just getting to that time where Boxy maybe can't be starting every game, and yeah, we just need a young center back to start next to Dabasi. I think we also need potentially a right back. I don't know if DJ Taylor can do it for a whole year by himself. I think he'd need some help with another player, but yeah, maybe even an upgrade on Kamar Lawrence. But we desperately need a DP striker or forward wing. But would be really, really nice if we could spend some money on a striker and instead of just making the playoffs and keeping that continuous playoff record alive, maybe we end up winning a trophy or something or qualifying for CONCACAF Champions League somehow. Just anything else that is an actual positive in a season, because yes, making the playoffs is positive, but it should be the bare minimum of a club that if you think if you're good enough, yeah, it just should be the bare minimum. I'm kind of rambling now, so I'm gonna wrap it up. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. So thanks for tuning in as always. Come on, you loons, and well, I'll maybe see you in the off season a little bit, but I'll definitely see you next year for the loons next season. So yeah, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, shoot them in the comments section. I'll get to them when I can. And yeah, have a great day and come on, you loons.